Yo, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Market Report. It is Monday, December 8th, and yeah, we got a big week ahead of us. Guys, a lot of green in the markets. We got a pretty decent little move yesterday. We're going to take a look at those charts in just a minute, but we got a lot of data this week coming in. We're going to be getting some jobs data. That don't look good. We're going to be getting some inflation data. That also doesn't look good. I love the smell of stagflation in the morning. Guys, we're going to break all this down, get into the charts, talk about this resistance level that Bitcoin is currently getting rejected at. You guys should all know it. We've talked about it here for quite a hot minute here. It's the golden pocket here coming down, getting rejection right on the dynamic reactor on the 4-hour. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about what you need to know about this week. FOMC coming up. Jerome Powell, Papa Powell are going to knock the markets down. And then also, we've got a new co-host today. Sadly have to announce that we got a new co-host. I needed some youth. I needed some youth to come into this game, so we'll show you. We'll introduce him today. Also, and let's go ahead and let's get it. You guys know what time it is. Shout out to the OGs. It is OG Monday. I got the OG shirt on. Got the OG coffee mug. And we got the OGs in the chat. So shout out to all of them. Of course, this show brought to you by ChartPrime. Best indicators in the biz and helping us crank out some money every week. So stagflation smells like burning capital. It does. You're right. You're right there, Brumblebee. Let's go ahead and bring up our new co-host, guys. We thought that OC was getting a little old for this type of scene. He couldn't keep up with all the workload, so we let him go. And we have a new guy, new young man coming in. Let's go ahead and bring up a new co-host. This is he's also from Mexico, but he doesn't have Superman hair, and he's very young, very young. What's up, OC? How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, guys. I'm doing fantastic, man. I've been so disconnected. First of all, I'm so happy to be back. I mean, I just needed to see you guys, and of course, having the chat. And as you know, there's some changes, right? There's some changes. Just so you know, if you're wondering, do all the stress stuff I have, like how do you call it, like skin flaking. So I just shaved and started doing some moisturizing. So if you start seeing me, start turning like into a lizard people, like doing some weird stuff, like, don't worry.
You know what that's from, right? You know what that's from, don't you?
What? The what?
Mexican water in general, bro.
I would debate it, but man, I don't know if I have the facts to do so.
I will say this: I would rather drink water in Cozumel than water in Flint, Michigan. I'll just put that out there.
I drank water from Flint, Michigan for like 2 years in a row, man. You know what's funny stuff? That you just get ice in your water. The water looks great. You put ice in that thing, and flakes start coming down into the water, man.
Little scary. So we've missed you, OC. We got a lot to go through. I do want to bring up my chart real fast just to talk about the levels, because we've been setting people up for the last couple of weeks while you've been gone over here, holding it down. But I want to talk about this chart, and then we'll come over and take a look at yours and see what you're seeing. Right now, the levels that we've been watching, guys, and I have, of course, no ticker at the bottom. Man, but this ticker needs to be reloaded. There we go. All the active real-time prices right there. See, we've been talking about this relationship between our golden pocket and our platinum pocket here for a while, guys. We came down, pretty much started a nice bounce off of the 887, and it's been this challenge to get through this golden pocket and the dynamic reactor. As we've showed you before, when we hit this dynamic reactor, it tends to be, can I get a drawing tool? There we go. Tends to be a very hard resistance. And so I showed this last week and said, I expected if we get up there, this is going to be the resistance level. We did get a pullback. It went kind of flat, did a reverse Bart Simpson here. And now we are fighting with this 0.66 level and this dynamic reactor, giving us just a push down to the downside. Now, if we do continue back down, I would watch that we do have a VWAP that's being pulled here from 21 November. This VWAP has been pretty good, in line with that 786. I would think that this level would hold down about $86,000. But if it does not, we are building up a very nice bear flag. I'm going to pass it over to OC, let him talk about that, and then we'll get into the news and break all that down for you guys. Come back and look at some altcoins. OC, hand it over to you, bro.
Absolutely. So, guys, remember that I'm just coming back in here for a long time not seeing the charts. I have some opinions that I also want to debate with you, Piper. Here's what I'm seeing. Absolutely see the huge bear flag, and that's scary, like pretty scary, right? But I also see, and I don't know if this is about hopium because I haven't been tracking the news and anything else, but just by looking at the charts, first of all, before we jump into the hopium part, let's take a look at our oscillator here. First, we have no money flow. Money flow is being like very lazy these times, right? Yeah, we have some volumetrics coming up here, and we have some green coloration at the bottom. Great, but the money flow is just not there. Another important thing, a very, very, very important thing is like, hey, look at that. Yes, we broke through that zero line, right? But at what cost? We did not make a higher high. I mean, I was actually expecting to have not only a higher high, but also a breakthrough, a support, right? Or a resistance, sorry, that represented this area right here. What is that area? Very important, because that is a beginning of a Wyckoff setup. Let's go back in here where we left out. Remember, little range, V-shaped recovery that gives us 70% of ranging, up ranging, right? And then flat pause of bearish continuation, right? The third one is the charm. First, second, third, or first, second, and third. So are we going to have that little bounce? I don't know. I still have very deep inside me, I believe that we still going to be having that bounce back to 108, 110, around these areas here for Bitcoin. I mean, even at 106 for this initial December run up. Important, very, very important. We have counteracting indications, right? So first, bear flag, all right, but also we have higher lows and somewhat higher lows, something like we have seen before. For example, let's bring it up. Come on, what is it? I think I lost it, and it was right here. What is it? Oh, not this one. Oh my God! Please, I need to. Yeah, so here it is. All right, so we had it right here. I was looking for this area right here, right when we start having those higher highs, higher lows, making that little flag and then bursting upwards. What is the difference? That we're not coming from the top, we're actually coming in this time what we were coming from the bottom, right? So we can still have, well, that higher low. This actually looks like a possible breakout, and we need to break through this area right now. I mean, maybe and just maybe you'll see that I have an alert in here and another alert on this trend line, because I am going to be buying this area right here, looking for a very low leverage, very low position, bouncing zone to get maybe the last push to the upside. All right, very, very important. At this point, remember, this is going to be a very dangerous setup. I'm also going to be trying to short this stop at this point because I want to hedge this market. I mean, there's basically no defined direction at this point, and we need to be prepared for whatever the market takes off, right? Right here, the next important thing, I would say that we could be drawing a trend line from all the way up here, from this peak to these other two areas, right? We have the first rejection, the second rejection, and if we lose the 86K, 86,400, I think we are basically confirming the bear market. I will say that, well, every single time that we were talking about, hey, if this then that, if this then that, if this then that, well, we are already onto it. I mean, this is the last part that we could be expecting, right? We've been just playing with this zone, but we have the breakout. We were looking for that retest. Remember that I was talking about the 100K zone, right? We haven't had it, but if we do not hold it, that means that the bearish scenario or the bears are being more powerful than the bulls, and we're not even close to be getting this rejection above in this area. Remember, we were tracking this range up, right? Not even having the proper bounce from, and then going lower, that'll be not good news. So if we start retracing here and losing not only this trend line, but also this previous support at 84,700, 84,400. I think that will be the initial bear market. But that's what I got. I mean, I think that we still can reach that 100K mark. But Piper, let me know how things are looking in the macro scale. Do you think that's possible? Should we be aiming for a hedge, or are we going to be shorting, looking for shorts?
I think at this point that the federal government has played the shell game so long and so well that even if good data came out, I couldn't tell you how the market's going to react. And so, because we've gotten bad data and the market pumps off. We've seen data that should have just dumped the market or should have pumped the hell out of the market and it just sells off. And I think there's just the amount of uncertainty is what's causing this amount of volatility because people just don't know if they should even believe that the data coming out, So I'm especially when we're seeing, we're getting data this past week and it was all from September. Like it was September data. Yeah, we're in December. We're getting data like 3 months old that people are operating off of. So let's go jump over to the chat real fast, talk to them, and then we'll get into on this macro news. I gotta move you over, sir. We can tell OC hasn't been here every day with us. Let me move you. Just nope, wrong way. There we go. There's OC. Yep, this young man here needs to be. There we go. Perfect. Let's go talk to the chat. We want to see who all we got in here. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. I appreciate you guys. 155 people watching right now. If you haven't done so yet, smash up the like. It helps us immensely. I know you guys hate hearing it, but believe me, it is literally what moves the algorithm here in YouTube. So shout out to David Brumbelow, the Brumblebee in the house, Alexander G, our mod queen, Blackie Chan, aka BC Port Corp, the host of the show there in the morning. Yep. Who are you looking at? Who's the new OC? Yep, Little Fish. Yeah, it's OC's little brother. OC's little brother. He goes by QC, quality control, for ChartPrime. We got Melissa 111 here. She's on vacation. Are you in vacation? Who's on vacation right now? I saw somebody say they were on vacation. Melissa did say that she drinks beer and tequila, no ice, when she's in Cancun. And then I saw Brumbelow, I think it was Dave Brumbelow said, there it is, squirt or tequila with no ice is all any visitor to Mexico should drink. Squirt and tequila is amazing together. So shout out. He said, if you have the ice, you're going to get 3 to 4 weeks of Montezuma's revenge. So facts, big facts. I appreciate you guys all being here. Shout out to everybody in here. All set. I saw Clyde in here earlier. I appreciate you being here. Axe221 wants to see a chart on ZBCN OC. So if you can get that chart ready, we'll go over that here in just a little bit. Yeah, beer and tequila is the way to drink. And I'm going to be on a cruise in January, hitting up a lot of places down there in the Caribbean and Mexico. So, but I'm also going to be gone.
Part. Could you remind me, CB? I missed a little part. CB,
CN, ZB, like Zulu, Bravo, Cancun.
Got it.
I think that was it. I think that was what he's asked for. ZBCN, I think.
Oh, got it. Here he goes. ZBCN USDT perpetuals. I got it on Bits.
Perfect. Perfect. So reminder to you guys, in case you didn't know, next Sunday, this coming weekend, I will be leaving. I will be leaving for 2 weeks. I'll be in Europe. So OC is going to be holding down the fort here on the show for you guys, covering Monday through Friday for the morning market report. So don't worry, you're being left in good hands. But at least it's, it's over the holidays. We tend to not get a whole lot. We're going to get you through the FOMC and all that at least. So there won't be a whole lot of data coming out over the holidays, I don't think so. But yeah, we'll leave you guys in good hands. I'll make sure I do a good Friday wrap up on what's going to be happening over that 2 weeks and make sure the OC's got good notes. But you guys are going to be in good hands. So yeah, I'm going to do a river cruise all the way at the Rhine River, hitting all the Christmas markets. So I will not be here. But let's go ahead and jump in on the news, get all that broken down. Yeah, January, 14 days and leaving out of Galveston, going to all over the Caribbean. So that's going to be a good time, OC. I don't know if you have, I don't think it's worth it for you to come out for the 1 day to what you have to go through to get out there to Cozumel. But, If you're there, great. If not, probably not. So then, yeah, here we go. Let's get on to the news and we'll break all this down. Looking at the metrics here into the cryptoverse today, guys. Where are we sitting at on the crypto market cap? Well, we're above 3 trillion, so there is that. $3.087 trillion is the current level. Trend line on that is at $4.785 trillion. We're currently undervalued about 35.49%. on the wristbands, and it is DCA Monday. So if you guys are members, we dropped all of the Bitcoin, the Ethereum, XRP, and Solana DCA levels. As I put in there, on that, if you guys are in the Discord and you're a member, and you guys want other altcoins, you just got to let me know. I'm just not going to do them all right now because I don't feel that altcoins should be being messed with too much on the investment side until we get some strength going on. So. With Bitcoin. But right now, sitting at a 42.2% wristband on Bitcoin. How we're looking for dominance. Dominance back up to 65% when you take out the stable coins, put the stable coins back in, sitting at about 58.74%. And a fear and greed index, because I can't get a fear and greed index anymore on X, it seems like. No one's being consistent. Current fear and greed right now sitting at 20. We are in extreme fear, according to the fear and greed index. Let's jump over and take a look at what happened with Michael Saylor. Guess what? He bought more Bitcoin. Who knew? Strategy acquired 10,624 Bitcoin for about $962.7 million. Currently, he bought those at $90,615 per Bitcoin. I still beat your buy price, Michael Saylor. I do it every time. And he has achieved a Bitcoin yield of 24.7% year to date. So not doing bad, not doing bad. His average price is about $74,696 per Bitcoin. Key events going on this week. We got some big ones coming up. September, again, 3-month-old data. JOLTS job openings data, that will be out Tuesday. December, we're going to get for the December Fed rate decision coming out on Wednesday. That's your FOMC. And then we're going to get Jerome Powell speaking 30 minutes after that, also on Wednesday. OPEC monthly report is going to be your oil thing on Thursday. And I think oil is going to be one to watch in 2026, guys. I think we're going to see a big move in the oil sector. May not be good for your gas prices, but there you go. German Christmas markets are a war zone. Piper just loves the smell of napalm. Hey, I'm built for that stuff, Mark Dutch. Initial jobless claims will be out on Thursday also. This is your weekly unemployment filings, and then we're going to get a 30-year bond auction on Thursday also. Third rate cut of 2025 coming this week. U.S. hiring is slowing at an alarming rate. This is job listings right here that they're talking about. U.S.-based employers have announced plans to add 497,151 jobs year to date. That's the weakest total since 2010, when 392,033 hires were planned in the first 11 months of the year. This also marks a 35% decline from the 761,954 announced during the same period in 2024. Hiring is now on track for its 5th consecutive annual decline. In November, companies announced only 9,074 hiring plans. That was the second lowest for this month since 2016. So, guys, U.S. hiring demand is at a crisis level right now. Looking at weak jobs. Copper prices, we've been talking about this. Mo McRan, we got the stock on our list in the Discord. Copper prices are surging. This has to do with the tariffs, people trying to front run the tariffs there. But also it's because there's a big shortage going on with copper, and there's going to be a high demand level. And so people are trying to stockpile it. Copper prices getting the squeeze on that and shooting up as it hits a new high. So shout out to OC and his copper plays. 717 large companies have gone through bankruptcy this year. For year to date, it's the most in 15 years. This is now higher than every full year total since 2010. This also marks the 3rd consecutive annual increase in a 93% jump since 2022. In November alone, 62 large firms filed for bankruptcy. And last week, we talked about the small companies, small business bankruptcies, and that was at a record high. Now we're seeing large firms really just start to erode also after 68 and 66 in October, September, 62 hitting the market in November for large firm bankruptcies. U.S. bankruptcies this year are now running 30% above the 2011 through 2024 annual average. Corporate bankruptcies are surging outside of the AI trade. That's the only thing keeping it going, guys. And that is our X marks the spot for today. Looking at liquidations, past 24 hours, we had 103,767 traders get liquidated. Total liquidations coming in at $336 million. Largest single liquidation was on Aster. Aster Exchange. It was an ETH trade for $11.22 million. How are we looking on the TradFi side? Let's give this a refresh. Make sure we got some current data on here. Dow Jones currently down about 0.2%. S&P down about 0.14%. And the NASDAQ flat, only up 0.03% today. Russell 2K actually outperforming the rest of the market. It is up about 0.5%. And volatility index shooting up 7%, coming in close to that 17. You guys know that's where we start to watch for crazy volatility shaking you out of trades. Bonds market right now, 10-year yield, almost a 4.2. This bad boy is not dropping on us, man. Your mortgages are getting higher, and it's not coming down with the rate cuts. We'll have to see what happens in 2026. But this 10-year yield rising up like that means people are buying. That means they're getting a little scared. I think that might have actually more to do with the stock market. December, you get a lot of people that tax loss harvest, meaning they sell their losers so that they can claim it against their capital gains, for tax season. And if they're doing that, they don't like their money just sitting in cash. They might be picking up some yield bonds. So curious to see where that money is all moving to. Doesn't look like it's moving to gold and silver right now. Gold down about almost 0.75%, sitting at $4,211. Silver sitting at $58.20 per ounce, down about 1.44. It does say copper is down about 1% here, but copper overall still sitting at $5.40 an ounce. Not bad. Platinum is about flat, and palladium up 0.82% there on the market. How's oil looking? Oil studying under $60. It is down 1.4% today. The entire energy sector taking a punch to the gut. Let's look at this crypto bubbles and see how this is. Bitcoin only up 1.6% on the daily right now, hitting that resistance. But Ethereum on the shoulders of upgrades has moved up 5.2% on the daily, making about a 1.1% pullback in the past hour along with Bitcoin. OG coffee. Everything tastes better in an OG mug. XRP up about 3.3% today. BNB up 2.6%. Big mover Solana 5.6% upside. Doge is up 5%. Cardano's up 5.6%. Chainlink up 3.6%, sitting at $13.84, and losing that $14 mark. It's trying its best to get up there. We'll see. Any other big movers? Stellar Lumens. Shout out to BC Port Corp. He likes that one. It is up 4% today. Monero, privacy token, taking a downside hit. And Zcash, holy cannoli, holy balls in the chat. Zcash is up 20% on the daily, man. This thing will not die. It just won't die. Litecoin down or up 3.5%, but moving down one spot to number 20 and wrapping out the top 20 there is SWE up 4.2% today. Here's the data for this week that you guys need to know about. So nothing today, nothing on Monday, quiet day. Tomorrow, we are going to get JOLTS job openings. Again, guys, this is going to be for September, so 3-month-old data. This is going to be out at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're also, I don't know if we're going to get this JOLTS job openings for October. I'm not sure what's going on with this. They have put a forecast in, so we'll have to wait and see tomorrow. Of course, this would be empty because we don't have a previous from October. We didn't get one in October, so I'm not sure how that one's going to play out. It may just drop off. They give us September, and then they roll this into the November one, which is going to be like late December, I assume. Wednesday, we're going to get our FOMC economic rate decision, or the Fed rate decision there. It's right now expected to be 25 basis points from 4% down to 3.75. And then we're going to get the speech here with Jerome Powell coming in, giving us a chat. That's going to be the one that really moves the markets, guys. I think if he comes in and he's overly hawkish because of this data that he knows is coming. I mean, look, job numbers here, 7.2. Okay, job openings. It's actually less. That means less jobs on the markets. We just showed you what was going on with jobs on X marks the spot. And then we get into initial jobless claims here. They're expecting weekly unemployment to go from 191,000 up to 221,000. Maybe a forecast of 205, but still higher. So more people filing for unemployment for the week. And then we get into PPI. Guys, PPI expected to be higher. This is your producer price inflation. Core PPI month over month expected to be potentially 0.2% higher. So we're seeing inflation coming up, job numbers coming down, getting weak, right? Unemployment rising, stagflation. Like I said, I love the smell of stagflation in the morning. Now, next week, we are going to get, after all of this FOMC stuff this week, next week, we're going to get the actual job numbers from November. Well after they needed it, right? And so nothing's projected here for November. But if this comes in with bad numbers, guys, just forget about it. That December is going to be a wash for us, and we're probably going to be staying in the red there. Come down here and look at the quarterly or at December. As of right now, on the monthly, we are barely up. I think next week has the potential, sending this into a red month, rounding out an entire quarter of red here, which would not going to be bad sign there. Matter of fact, if you look at the annual, we're barely holding on for having a green year when this is supposed to be the bull market run. So right now, how are we looking for a chance of a rate cut? It's 89.9, 90% chance that we do get a rate cut on the on Thursday or Wednesday next week, I should say. So guys, or this week, this Wednesday, next week, we get the PPI. So I do think that we've got a potential coming up for some high volatility. I think that we are looking at running into a wall of resistance on Bitcoin, even if we do get a move to the upside. Matter of fact, I'll pull it over here with OC and we'll take a look at this chart. He was talking about that move up to like 100,000 plus at 102. At 102,000, we're going to hit the 52-week simple moving average. And I think that being in line right there with the 618 would just be nothing more than what we've always seen, a lower high, and a rejection off a retest there, which historically is a bear market. So lots of things to take into account here when you look at the macro side, and then you look at this chart and you go, this looks very familiar, and I remember this was painful last time. OC, your thoughts on what's going on with the FOMC coming up? Do you think we're going to get a move to the upside or downside on that, or what should people be watching for on the FOMC?
Oh man, I think we're back on the old a couple of years ago, back in December sentiment, like nobody knows. I do believe that we're going to have the December pump. It's been a classic move for December, especially when we got some slightly good news. But I think you're right onto your initial comments. Everything is being just played out for so long that most of the things are already being cooked, right? It's just people like me that has that little hopium, right? We're gonna be putting out those ears out for the FOMC and saying, hey, did he said, let's buy, right? And maybe that might be pumping up the markets just a little bit, but be very careful, guys, because I don't think there's gonna be a long-lasting scenario. Nevertheless, we're going to be playing it safe, I would say, or I'm going to be playing it safe. And as mentioned before, I'm going to try both long and short, not at the same point, but long at the bottom and shorting at the top, right? Based on the little channel or the bear flag that we have going on. So if we have good data of the FOMC, I'm going to be counting on the maybe last December pump. And I'm not expecting just a huge pump, right? We'll have to see because, oh man, I don't know. Things are getting heated up at this point. But also, we have a new front with Venezuela in the U.S., right?
It's true.
That means, and that's despite all the things that this might imply. Strictly talking about money flow or how money was going to be flowing, I think we can see some investing on military grade scenarios. So that is your stock heads up, and not only that, then if the stocks start doing a little bit better, I believe that we might have a little replay back into crypto. But let me know, what do you think about that? Maybe that will get some money shift around. Will that affect crypto the good way?
I still think, regardless of what happens, macro, geopolitical, whatever, I still think that if we don't break above this 102, then we're seeing what we've always seen. What changes this is if we get up here and we find a bounce. If we find a break of that 52 week and that bull market support band, which is now bear market resistance band, and this 0.618 at 103,552, then I think that we have to assume that this norm break, retest, and rejection, and this norm break. Oh, can I draw, please? Break, retest, and downturn. If we don't reject on that, then I think that we have to go, okay, we have a change here. We have new data, and now we're setting up for 2026. But it's really, I really do feel that if we get up to 102,000 and we get rejected there, guys, that is your signal that no situation normal, all left up, snafu is happening on the charts, and we have to just go with just let it happen. So, OC, what are you seeing on some altcoins? I know you got one that we had a request there. You haven't gone through gold in a while. I know you got your Solana and your FE. Let's go. Let you run. Let's let you cook. Everyone wants some Mexican spaghetti. What do you got for us?
Let's go. All right, so let's get started here with the ZBCN USD. All right, I have no idea about this coin, but let's do a quote-unquote plan analysis, right? The very first thing that I want to go and do is always go to daily and go as far as I can, right? And we can see that we have no history. So the analysis that we can do here, yes, it's a predictive analysis, which means it has a higher degree of not being that accurate. Remember, if you don't have past data, it's just like predicting the weather without knowing exactly all of the variables. You will never know all of them, but you can have like a good enough variables. In this case, we just don't have them. All right. So the important part in here is that we're coming
They're
back
probably
down.
looking at it for a scout purpose, though. So if we go down on the low time frames, that might give them a lot more data.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Although, I mean, we can start seeing that kind of like a downward channel, right? So I think that we can get into it, and then, as you mentioned, maybe zooming into that zone. So right here, we have a bullish divergence. That bullish divergence has already played out. We are struggling to get above that zero line, and if for some reason we're able to break back above, I think we're golden, and we're gonna be breaking back to the upside. Nonetheless, I would say that would be plan B. Let's go back into the 4 hours really quickly. And in here, we have a little bit more data, as Piper mentioned, and I think that we could be going even lower, right? At this point, I need to start bringing up not only support and resistances, but also some other predictive indicators, like predictive ranges. Let's bring them on. And here it goes. So we have a far end at the bottom in here. So I'm going to be looking this area just in case we do something like this. And I'm going to be looking for first area of a failed swing pattern in here. All right. And that is because we're also trying to push above. So if we have that V-shaped recovery, I think we can be going in for a little long and then taking some profits as we go up. We have another trend line in here. So what is the deal? If we have rejection, a possible scalp entry right here. Yes, scalp in the 4 hours because you're looking for a instant entry, short entry, not short negative. All right, just small entry. That's what I mentioned, like short in time. Okay, and then trying to make your stop loss right below the previous interest zone that I'm going to be marking right here. By the way, guys, remember, it's not about the price. If I'm looking at this and somewhere else that is not Bybit, don't look at the price. Look at where your candles are. All right, that's going to be defining your price on your broker. So maybe somewhere right below there, around 0.023 45.8, somewhere around there, for a stop loss, and then trying to get the bounce. Nevertheless, at this point, I wouldn't be shorting this, and that is because we're breaking through the upside. That gives me good vibes. But if I start seeing some retracement right in here, let me just get this out of the way. Perfect. If I start seeing something like this, well, definitely I'm going to be looking for the next short. Let's go and jump into the 15 minutes just to clear this up. And we are basically doing nothing. So we are ranging. That's not a bad thing. I mean, if you can define the range, you are golden for trading it. And I think we can. All right. So first of all, let me bring up a couple of other indicators to overlay them. And let's just wait for them to load. There it is. And what I want to see here is where people is allocating their money. As you can see right there, everything is soft, soft, soft. All right. So there's no real liquidity being added here, which means we can expect a little bit more of a range. So a vanilla breakout, we already have a breakout, retest, and then continuation. But again, we need to break through that 0 line. If that's going to be the case, I'm going to be looking for a possible short somewhere around 0.28 002887, and then a possible rejection back to 0.28035 ish, somewhere around here, something like this. And that is because we have the money flow POC, and we have a big bar in here that indicates that we might be able to bounce down. After that, we need to look at our oscillator and define direction based on the oscillator. But so far, that's what I got on ZBCN. And let's go take a look at gold because, yes, as you mentioned, it's been a while since I don't do gold. I love gold, baby.
And
Let's
shout
go
out
get
to
it.
Tradefly because he's in the chat too, and we know he loves gold. So shout out to
He
Tradefly.
loves gold. There we go. So actually, this is where we left out. And I mean, no surprising here, no kidding. It is just following out the same pattern that we've been, I don't like to say predicting, but that we expected to follow, right? Remember when I told you guys, hey, everybody's going to be telling you this is a flag. Everybody's going to be telling you this is this and that. Well, don't listen to this because the most likely is going to be a range, right? It was a range in here, right? We're looking for the breaking point. It was a range here, looking for the same breaking point. And, well, no surprises. It was a range in here, right? Looking at this possible downtrend trend line to be a possible flag, but it ended up being a range. Same thing here. Remember, it was not a flag in this case. The trend line is broken, and most likely it's going to be a range. So this is important. We've been hovering over these trend lines. Time for me to adjust it a little bit better like this. And we're going to be looking for breakout continuation, but most likely we're going to have a retracement. Retracement till where? So first of all, we're looking at this zone. And if we didn't break through, well, that means that we need to hit the top. We have a double possible top. Also, we have a possible bullish flag, but let's bring up predictive ranges along the order blocks. So we are in a loud order block, bearish loud order block. We also have a liquidity zone. I know this is getting crowded here, right? But we also have a resistance, a very thick resistance with a golden light predictive range. This means this is a big, big enemy to work around, right? Which mostly means that we're going to have a retracement. Retracement till where? I would say through the trend line here, that also coincides with the blue predictive range. And if we lose this, well, we're going to be looking for this area right here and then this area right here. Coming down all the way to 3,700, I don't think so. I know that we're tracing this downwards trend line, but again, remember, it's most likely that we're going to be making more a flat-ish scenario. So I'm going to be looking for 4,300 and 3,900 for my next reentry. At this point, I am selling a little bit in here. Well, not me, my wife. Remember, she's the one in charge on gold. She's selling a little bit on the holdings that we got, just the trading portion. I'm not going to be getting rid of all of my gold. In fact, most of my gold is still on my savings account. And I'm going to keep it in there. Why? Because as long as we have uncertainty in the markets, we can count with gold with either ranging, holding value, or even going higher. So that's what I'm betting on gold. So long story short, I think we have a retracement. And if we lose the 4,130, next target is going to be the 4,000 and 3,900. For if of anything we break to the upside, the next target is going to be 4,364, rebound, support, and then continuation, your entry being right there for a further up continuation. But so far, let's keep how the plan is. I think we're going to have a rejection and some support at those areas. Let's go over copper really quickly, because copper, it's been killing it. It's been killing
real fast on copper. I want to remind everybody, with the reason we've been watching copper so closely is because of two reasons. One, data centers, they're going to need a crap ton of copper. Matter of fact, Buck, he does, he's got a Bitcoin mining company now, full, like major, massive scale. Um, he just bought a whole crap ton of copper because he knows that he sees the price going up. So he bought it all early for all of his wiring. But all of the wiring for those data centers, the cooling systems, the ACs, that there's so much copper involved in building those data centers. They're going to continue to get done. And then on top of that, you've got the tariff scare where people are trying to buy it before it gets, the uncertainty makes it more expensive. And then third, I guess there's 3 points. The other one is that by 2030, estimated negative 1.1 million metric ton shortage. Of copper. So yeah, Mo McRae is the stock that we've been watching, which is FCX, I believe, is its ticker. Let me double check it. Yeah, FCX, Fox
XCU.
Charlie X-ray.
Oh.
Is Mo McRae. But let's go take a look at the spot copper, which I'm sure that's what OC is going to take a look at. Then, it's definitely showing the squeeze is happening on the supply and demand side. What you got for us, OC?
Absolutely. Something that you guys may not have on your radar. If copper is rising up, guess what else is going to be rising up that many people are not counting on? Well, full share, full metal jacket Liberty seats. All right. So make sure you stack those on time before they get unbuyable. All right.
Liberty seeds. I have Liberty seed. I have a lot of Liberty seeds. I have more than I would need in any type of scenario. So if anybody wants some Liberty seeds, I will beat market price.
Let's get it. Let's get it. All right. So first of all, we're gonna be drawing this trend line in here, and that is just to show the breakout, right? The next important thing, sorry, it's gonna be these two peaks, of course, and this area right here. So we had the range that we broke. Why is this important? Because this is where the next liquidity bounce is going to happen. All right, we're seeing some decreasing of volume, but the money flow is still strong. And well, let's go and zoom in here. Despite the money flow is still strong, it's starting back around. That's why we're looking for the support area, right? So the next thing to look for is going to be a retracement. What is going to be our triggering for, hey, warning, or danger, Will Robinson? This as we start breaking through this trend line. When we break this trend line and let me lock this into place and add an alert to it, we're going to be looking for the next support somewhere around the 11. Holy Jesus. All right, so 11,116. That's a pretty good price for copper, man. So let me just get rid of this and let's use the indicators to actually have a much defined area of support. And I think we got it like almost right away. Let me just get rid of all of these things in here. Let's go step by step. So the very first key here is support and resistance. Look at that, exactly the same area that we were talking about. We also have a liquidity zone right there, and we have dynamic reactor coming in strong. So let me add another secondary alert right here, and that would be it. The next thing is just to confirm. So more data doesn't hurt. We have just slightly higher targeting here and a slightly lower target. In the middle would be right here, same thing. Basically not really making me want to change my line. Look at that, another golden line in here. So that's pretty good. It's pretty solid. We have another soft order block. The very first one will be defining the breakout of the trend line. And the next one, well then, if we start losing this one right here, that's going to be a little shame. We might be going back down and then keep ranging. I don't think that we're going lower, at least for now. All right. And finally, let's take a look at the trend in here, and we're at the top of the trend. It makes sense for us to have a little pushback. And if we bounce out of the median or of the trend and look at where is that coming at, right? Where is our alert at? If we bounce out of that zone, which would be very nice, we could be expecting a breakout out of the range, an imminent breakout out of that range. So copper looking fantastic. I think we are on the go with that one. And now let me go over a couple of altcoins here. I want to visit the hashtag FETH. And on FETH, basically, we already have our breakout of the huge trend line right here. We were talking about the first possibility. That was a rejection. We did not have the rejection in plan B. Remember that. So plan B is the one taking right now place. It's not exactly as we were expecting, but it's actually playing out very nicely. Remember, we were looking for a peak down here, but it just ended up being a little higher. And then the next peak, it is right here. So that things change slightly, right? It's truth also that we could be seeing a bear flag, but for now, we're going to be trading it as breakout of the major trend. Let me also adjust this line in here as much as I can, like that. There it is. And lock this into place. So what's going to be the game in here? We're going to trade this for the worst case scenario. That means a flat positive bearish continuation. That means breaking to the downside. But still, since we have a megaphone, we're going to be looking for the next support in here and the next stop in somewhere around here. So no trading zone is in the middle, right? And your trading zone is going to be at the top and at the bottom. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy on Ethereum. Let's take a look at Litecoin. Litecoin is way much more flatter than Ethereum, something that I'm not liking. Let me go to daily. Let me clear this up. And we'll see that we are on a never-ending range. All right, so what is the bottom part of this range? Let me see if I can bring this up. Let's do first a ghost trend and what is the trend range? There it is. So far, we're at the bottom of this itty-bitty tiny range. We have broken out the bullish trend. We're looking for a bearish trend to appear to then break it out. So we're going to be looking for the next possible bullish entry on Litecoin. We need to be careful because if everything goes down, Litecoin will also go down. Something important that you want me to see here, or I want to show you that I'm doing, is that I'm not respecting the very bottom in here. I'm going through it, right? To be able to catch this low, to catch this low, to catch this low, and get as close as I can to catch this low, all right? Which means we could have a failure point. What is a failure point? Something like that. Or a, not failure point, but I would call it more like a threshold area, right? So do expect something like this on our oscillator. Let me zoom in. And what we're going to be looking for, it's going to be a retracement in here. And then on that retracement, going a little bit lower. For that, I need to take a look at my predictive ranges and order blocks. Let me bring them on. And here it is. So going into the most important support and then breaking out of it. So that's what we're going to be looking for. And then going at the top of the range. So let's go back to the 4 hours really quickly. Let's see how that looks. And that means that we can run a little bit higher here, maybe a target of 89, a good option or a good zone to start shorting the market as we have flip of the ribbon. So look for that flip of the ribbon to the downside. And finally, aiming for somewhere between 75 and 66K for then taking a bullish switch, all right? But in that case, let me add my alerts in here. There it is. All right, so I think Litecoin is out of the way. Let me just finish up with Solana. And Solana is something that I've been, there we go, been tracking closely. I believe that this is what's going to happen. Remember, we actually copied those targets. And guess what? It seems like we're following almost to the T. So be careful because if this is as we were expecting, a downwards movement is coming. Very important. Solana has been an amazing coin this cycle. It's been pumping and it's been shorting. Bitcoin shows some signals of bullishness and Solana takes off. Bitcoin shows some signals of bearishness and Solana goes down. All right. So if Solana goes down in here, most likely Bitcoin also is going to have a movement to the downside. I would say that in this point, it's like Solana is leading the way. Not true, but feels like it.
There is definitely some correlation going. That's why Alex O, shout out to Alex O, I just saw him in the chat. He said Did Piper get a new child doing TA now? And then Lunar Beach said Piper went to Mexico and got some cheap child labor. So I outsourced TA to Mexico. But yeah, definitely Solana is one of the altcoins to keep watching. That's why we've been dropping the DCA. Speaking of the DCA, I do want to bring this over here and show you guys. Looking at the best days to DCA still. If you guys haven't seen the update on this, here you go. Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday. And this has been running true. I've been doing my DCAs on Saturday, but now over the weekend, Friday into Saturday, and it's been working out pretty well for me. So Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday, best days to DCA on Bitcoin. There was also another thing I wanted to show you here. Looking at the ROIs, and I know that Ben Cowan's been talking about the monthly average ROIs, historical monthly. Which one is it? Let me see here. ROI bands, cycle bottoms. After cycle bottoms. I want to show this here because this one, and we'll take off cycle one because it doesn't really match up. But take a look here, guys, at what we have here for the most recent cycle. Where this ran in at is pretty accurate. And if we look at this from the bottoms, ROI after bottom, I want to pull this one up here. No, ROI after bottom. No, this is from the top. From the top, after having, there we go. That's the one. Take off the first one here and take a look on here too. Guys, this does give a little bit of indication compared to last cycle that we could have one more push up here on our returns on investment, which does lend a little bit of validity that we do get one more push going in over this next month. We got about, what, 21 days left in this month, 22 days. It does give us that we could get one more push up. But I just want to reiterate again that even if we get up there, we've got to be watching closely on the 102 range here for Bitcoin. If we get that move up on Solana, that would line up, that OC was just showing there, that would line up with what we're seeing for that one more push. And the ROI post halving would line up better with 2021. But overall, we have to assume at this point, until we see that break above that 52-week simple moving average, we do have to run with the mindset that the top might be in for this cycle. And if we do get those run-ups, could be a good opportunity to take your profits. One point I want to make here, because everyone talks about, well, the stock market's still doing well. We got a new article that just popped up here this earlier, a little while ago. Let me go to here and refresh this. And I'll show you this article that just popped up because there we go. Longtime Mag 7 bull now says investors should abandon ship. It's going to be a Game of Thrones. He's even seeing some big volatility coming in on the Mag 7 side where, hey, AMD might run and NVIDIA doesn't do much, or it might be, the hype, the Meta play or the Google play that's just to take some of this heat. And so volatility may be coming really soon to all of that. And if we get a lot of uncertainty in the Mag 7, probably going to see a lot of uncertainty coming across and translated into Bitcoin and crypto. So that's all I wanted to touch on today. OC, you got anything for the people before we head out of here, man? Besides smashing the like button?
Not much. Well, I want to bring up a post from X really quickly, and this is not to give hopium, but this is something that we need to keep keep an eye on, right? This is where the gold ETF was approved versus the Bitcoin ETF was approved, right? As you can see, well, this guy was aiming at 500K. I just want to show that that was something that it actually impressed me that somebody else also was looking at that 500K. And well, despite it seems like this is running up, because I'm going to be talking a lot about the comparison between gold and Bitcoin. Well, these little movements in here represent years, all right? So be careful because we could have, yes, a big market coming up, and that doesn't mean that Bitcoin is dead. What I want to actually wrap this up with, it is, hey, we might have, or we might start seeing some people saying the Bitcoin bubble, it's burst, it's over, right? I mean, just like with every other bear market, just don't let emotions get in the way. Trade the day, trade your chart as you have those signals and move with the market. So regardless, as long as this thing moves, we can make money. So I just wanted to end up with that. Try to keep emotions out of this, and you're gonna have a lot at this point, a lot of yes, it's going up, no, it's going down, kind of stuff, right? So be prepared for that abusive, I don't know, news stamp on the markets at this point, or at least on Twitter at this point. So yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Appreciate that, man. Good info. Good info. All right, guys. Appreciate you guys all joining us here today for the morning market report. It's just the beginning of the week, so we've got a whole week ahead of us. If you guys are members in the Discord today, OC, you're going to be there today, right, OC? For the members Discord? Cool. Today, we're going to break down all of the new stuff on the ChartPrime indicators. So if you guys are interested in knowing, like, hey, what is this new diamond? What is this new VWAP indication here? What is this new warning sign that just popped up? We're going to break all that down today in the Discord for the members. So make sure you're there. Bring your charts and be ready. We're going to, if you have questions, this is the time to ask them. OC is going to be there to explain all the new features from the ChartPrime indicator that just came out. We'll be back here tomorrow morning. Are you going to be live today, OC?
Yes, I'm going to be live today.
All right, Trade Live with OC. Trade Status with OC guy is back this evening. And then tomorrow morning, Good Morning Crypto with BC Port Corp. Of course, we'll be back at 10 a.m. Bringing you guys that economic data. We're going to be getting JOLTS jobs tomorrow morning, right at the market open, or right at our show start. 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you guys tune in right here. Hit that notification bell if you haven't done so yet, so you can get notified when we go live, and we'll be breaking down the news, the charts, the markets, the macro economy, and everything you need to have knowledge, because knowledge is profit. Until next time, guys, trade safe, peace, love, and profits. We're out of here.
That's the rap. Chart stack data never lie. Piper led the mission, OC in the sky. Spaghetti on the screen, but the vision stay prime. ChartPrime visual signals on time. Alumni strong, we built from the grind. Lessons in the market that'll outlive time. Knowledge is profit, you know how we run. Till the next one, stay sharp, get it done.
You can't handle the truth. Emotional damage.
We'll see you at the next
They don't
one.
know what the fuck they're doing.
Morning market report out. 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 Out.
Boom shakalaka.
We'll see you at the next one. Morning market report out. We'll see you at the next one. Morning market report. Ow.
That was awesome, dude.
Hey, it didn't break. What else you got?